This is the Gorge podcast where my friends and I gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month, you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I and the rest of the gang decide we don't feel like playing something, so we watch something and talk over it instead. And $2 is the grab bag tier. It's everything else. It's anything that is not Takeout. You're welcome. And then also, if you're feeling saucy, $10 a month gets you exclusive pictures of Peanut, the Gorge's official mascot.
And if you pay us $50 a month, a thing that no one should do, but you might be considering it because you're very, very wealthy. You, this listener, you get a custom role in the Discord, and also I'm going to make this offer independent of the Gorge podcast. If it's enough money to afford a specific game or games or multiple copies of a game, I will stream it for you.
Yeah, we should just make that the thing. I don't like putting my life in other people's hands, but also I think it's kind of funny, the idea of just like, if you pay us only one person can be the sucker per month. But if you pay us $50, we'll play your dog shit video game as long as it's not expensive or whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to send us enough money to buy 4 copies of Monster Hunter Wilds and also like $1,000 a person for system upgrades, in order to play Monster Hunter Wilds on PC, we will play that game because it will mean you have given us like over $4,000.
That's correct. In which case,
if you
we
want
would
to
be
do
very
that,
happy to do that.
please.
Absolutely. If you are that
wealthy, I'll take
wealthy,
$4,000 from anybody.
Although, frankly, if you're that wealthy, just give us $4,000. I mean, you know, that would be nice. I would love just to spare thou, you know. So
you cannot go wrong with $4,000.
No, that's hard to beat, actually. But yeah, no, that and more. Patreon.com/thegorge. Thank you.
All right, so what's everyone been up to?
Nothing, because I rewatched Severance with Oates, so that I might convince another person to watch Severance. And frankly, I'll watch Severance with Saturn too. I don't care. I'll watch Severance with anybody to make people watch Severance. That show's good as fuck. The newest episode came out. It was fucking crazy. It was completely fucking wild.
My Severance promise is one of two things will happen. Either A, you with your currently active 3-month trial period will force me to watch it with you at some point.
Correct.
Or B, because that 3-month trial period is no longer available, at least not for me, I will just, whenever the second season's over, I'll just binge it.
Sure.
For a second, I thought you said the Tekken season, and I was like, yeah, when Saturn gets bored of Tekken, they'll move on to watching Severance.
Yeah, that game I famously play, Tekken.
Yeah, no. Saturn is secretly like world champion at Tekken.
If I was a Tekken world champ, you would never have me on this podcast again because I would be making a clean $200 or $300 a year playing Tekken.
$200 to $300 a year. Don't spend it all in one place.
Instructions unclear. I spent it all on Tekken costumes.
Instructions unclear. Spent it on more FGO figurines.
Don't tempt me.
Saturn has a lucrative career in Tekken tournaments so they can afford to play FGO.
Yeah.
The only thing stopping me from buying more FGO figurines is the knowledge that pre-ordering figurines means you have to put down, you have to commit to buying them like a year and a half in advance. And I already have Saber Astolfo, so
you're good, honestly, if you think about it. Like, what else?
Yeah, except for the fact that there's a 1/7 of Nobunaga coming out, which I have pre-ordered. But it's fine.
It's fine. It's okay. I think that's really, otherwise it's just been putzing. I have just been deep in the Severance mines. Again, that show's good.
Getting sevied.
I can't say anything, but that show's good as fuck. It was funny though, because I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm not a person who keeps up with contemporary TV, right? I mostly watch old Star Trek. What do you want from me?
Right.
Because I'm like an old person. So the other day I went to dinner with a bunch of friends, and one of my friends is the exact opposite, where she really keeps up with contemporary TV. And so she was like, I'm sure none of you have been, but is anybody watching Severance? And I was finally able to just explode at my good friend Eden, who never can have TV conversations with me. I was like, oh my god, I am finally somebody else to talk to about it. Except the problem was that Lauren was also at the dinner table with us eating all-you-can-eat sushi, which is great, by the way. There is an all-you-can-eat sushi place in my little teeny tiny town, and it kicks ass.
Ooh.
But Lauren was across the table, and she said the worst words you can hear, which is, "No, don't say anything. I want to watch Severance." And I'm like, no! No!
Pain Dio.
Pain Dio.
It has been like, lady, you need to get up and go to the bathroom for about 15 to 30 minutes.
Lauren, go pee so that we can talk about Severance for a minute. No. So instead, we had to do the thing where you talk about a show in as like vague possible terms as you can, right? So we're like, so about The Thing, did you predict The Thing? I was like, I had my suspicions about The Thing in episode 4.
It's the exact same thing as trying to talk about 13 Sentinels with someone while you're both playing it. Like,
yeah.
Did you get to the part where they were in the room
with the other guy? No shit.
See, this is why I like Twin Peaks: The Return, because you have that problem. You just go, man, episode 8, huh? And you go, yeah, man, episode 8.
Yeah. Actually, there are like parts in Severance season 2, episode 4, Woe's Hollow, where it was like the most Twin Peaks it's ever been.
Oh yeah,
and that
holy shit!
That show's pretty Twin Peaksy, like just kind of Lynchian adjacent in general. But episode 4 is just like, what if we went whole fucking hog on it? And I was just ecstatic. I was so happy. Because it's very weird and kind of dreamy, and you're like, why is this happening? And again, I can't say anything because I want to keep it vague for reasons. But so much of that episode is just you going, why is any of this happening? And then at the end of it, you're just like, I see, and it's great because you finally get like a huge payoff to a thing that's been like that's been suggested since the beginning of season 2, and it was like, oh, good. And also, just give John Turturro the Emmy, please.
Yeah.
Just give it to him. It's fine. He's immaculate in this show. He's the best character. Irving is incredible. He's so good. I mean, he just plays Irving so well. There's so many things. And honestly, Britt Lowe, I think is her name. She's the chick who plays Helly. She's also incredible in this.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, again, as vague as possible. But the character that she is like such a spectrum of emotion, and all of it is played in like these extremely tiny movements of like her mouth and her eyebrows. But like, it's one of those things where you just see it and the whole tone shifts in just a couple seconds. It's fantastic. It's so good. She's so good. Just give both of them the supporting role Emmys and move on with our lives.
Yeah.
Severance is incredible. Every single episode that comes out, I'm always like, how the fuck are we only halfway through the second season? Like, where do we go from here, right?
Yeah, like they announced the 3rd season, but it's like,
yeah, where do we go from here?
What is it going to be about? Because
I don't know. Apparently this show is I would not be surprised if the 3rd season is the last one. It probably should be the last one.
I'm kind of hoping it would be.
Yeah.
These kinds of shows with these really high concepts, it seems like a death trap if you run it for any longer than 2 or 3
totally.
seasons. Like, it does
And
not seem
also-
like a very like my limited knowledge of the show. It does not seem like something that can run for fucking like 14 seasons. Like
No,
NCIS
absolutely
or-
not.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
it's very much the two things this show reminds me of. Well, three things the show reminds me of the most is if you were to just take 13 Sentinels, Twin Peaks, and The Good Place,
Yeah.
and just like mash them together into a fine paste, you'd get Severance.
Yeah, put them
So,
in
like-
the Will It Blend blender. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it can't. It by design cannot last more than like 3 seasons.
You'd get a mysterious silvery putty that they call Severance.
It's actually black goo in Severance, but never
Yeah.
mind that. But no, and the other thing that you need to know about Severance and why I think it's only going to be 3 seasons is because it's really expensive to make.
I'm
I bet.
sure.
Apparently, not only because like it has like a ton of expensive actors. It's got Christopher Walken and a bunch of it's got John Turturro and a bunch of stuff like that. So it has expensive actors. But also apparently Ben Stiller is like a David Fincher level perfectionist maniac, apparently, where they'll just reshoot the same thing over and over again to get it just right? So that's a funny thing to learn about Zoolander.
Yeah, Sarah, those hallways are real.
Yeah, those hallways are real. They
That's
built that
real
fucking
sets.
set. That's insane to me. They shot on location for episode 4.
I'm really excited to find out what you mean by that.
Those hallways are real. You'll see. Yeah, no, it's super good. I cannot possibly recommend. I know I'm like talking about it every single week in the vaguest terms possible, but Severance is really, really good. And I cannot possibly recommend it enough. It's actually funny. I was watching through the first season with Oates, and we got to the end of season 1, and it's such like a crazy like cliffhanger to end it on. And then I remember that show went on hiatus
For 3 years.
3 years after the end of season 1, and I'm like, no. And I understand why it went on hiatus. It's because like writer strike and stuff happened, right? So they just weren't able to film a lot of times. They just didn't have a show to make. So like, I get it. I totally get it. We love strikes, right? But like, to have that show end the way it does and then go on hiatus for 3 years is like, it is like the end of Twin Peaks season 2. You can't. No.
Yeah.
Why?
Let me be real. Like, when I watch that show, and I will watch that show, I'm certain it will be good and I will enjoy it, right? If we finish season 2 and we find out that they're making a season 3, and then season 3 for some reason doesn't materialize for another 3 or 4 years, there's no world in which I'm tuning back in for season 3, even if I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not gonna happen.
I mean-
I got a short attention span.
My brother was the one who was just like, I've been waiting 2.5 years for this. I'm like, I will watch it just for you, little brother. I love you. Because the problem is when you watch the show, you become cursed with the sickness called I need to talk about Severance with someone.
Yeah.
Umineko disease.
It's Umineko disease. Yeah. You catch the Umineko disease, and that means that Trey was also just like, please watch it. I need somebody else to talk to about it. And I'm like, okay, I will.
I was talking to someone about visual novels recently, and I was trying to think about what that effect is, right? And I think what it is like, and I'm going to use the term reading here, but understand that I mean like,
Anything.
engaging TV as well, and video games, whatever. If you read something and it finishes, or like it is like, or like it hits a place where it's like, oh, this is an episode where it ends conclusively, or like the plot is done for the moment, you don't feel like you've been like left on red, right? But there's still things that aren't wrapped up. It's like even when the thing is done existing, you still feel like you're in the middle of reading it, and that goes on forever. That's the thing. That's the thing about Umineko disease is I am never going to feel like I stopped reading Umineko, even though I finished it like 2 years ago, because there's just enough left there for you to chew on that it's like I'll be thinking about it for the rest of my life.
OG Twin Peaks disease. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the first
and much like
handful-
OG Twin Peaks disease, you might end up feeling like you were better off in the position before they added like an Umineko episode 10 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
They in the Switch version of that game, they made an episode 9. No shit.
Wait, really?
And I'll tell you for free, never going to read it, don't care what it's about. I don't want to know. It could only reduce my estimation of Umineko.
I see. Well, I gotta get back to it. Hopefully this week I'll try and be a good girl and get back to it. But I also have to finish Lost Belt 7 at some point in my human life.
I believe it.
Thank you. I appreciate your belief in me. Lost Belt 7, I'm only a little bit further in it since the last time I reported in. And they scared me for a second there. They scared me for a second there when it came to my big boy, right? I was like, oh, they've harmed him. They've harmed my beautiful golden mustachioed boy. They haven't. So.
I was like, here's what I'll say is there was when I got to that same moment, I internally made the decision, if they actually just do it, I will feel like they are brave and are committed to being like, no, a gacha game can have a real story, and if they don't, I will think they are hacks. And they didn't do it, but I still came out of LB7 not thinking they were hacks, so I guess they're okay.
That's right. They did it. They threaded the needle.
It's hard. It's really hard to be like, no, we absolutely can't kill our main cast, or have those kinds of huge change ups, but then also still tell stories that feel like they're important and it matters that they happened.
Well, the thing is, you can't. I understand why they walk it back, because the simple fact is they already did it once, and they did it with the most important one, right? Again, I'm being vague for other people in the calls.
Yeah, it's much for the same reason for you're vague with Severance.
Exactly. But they already did that in the break between the first and second arcs, and at the end, technically at the end of the first arc, they did it. And you know what? They never, as far as I can tell, they've never actually walked it back, right? Like, there's somebody running around, there's two somebodies running around who look like two dead somebodies, but they are emphatically not the same person, so you know what? It's okay.
And I feel like it's just one of those things, and it's like, why, like, maybe that trigger doesn't get pulled again in that moment. It's just like, I mean, you already know there's stakes. What do we get out of, like, just unceremoniously offing members of the main cast in the middle of an arc at a moment where it's not even like particularly important that they die.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right.
Fine. Okay, fine. You
recovered from me believing for a couple of chapters there that you might actually just secretly be hack frauds and every good thing you made was on accident.
No, Kanako Nasu only makes good things on purpose. This I know to be true.
He makes them very slowly after playing a lot of Elden Ring.
That's literally it. Yes.
It's extremely funny to me how like he is such a good author, and he's also an author who's so nakedly like, fuck, I played or read or watched this thing that's so good, I'm going to like take that energy into doing something completely unrelated, but you can still feel it in
You
there.
can still feel the vibes, absolutely.
You can feel Elden Ring in Avalon LaFay like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's super cool. I love it. And I'm really looking forward to more of Lost Belt 7. I just needed to, like as always, make time for it.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. But that's all I got.
You'll get there. There's too many visual novels.
There's too many fucking visual novels. What the hell? We gotta still read all of the devil. So
I was gonna say, actually, that's a good segue to get to my week.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. I've started streaming recently, as you may have noticed. If you're listening to this and you don't know that I've started streaming recently, I'm shocked and surprised. You can find it over at twitch.tv/mystery systems. I mention this because we've been starting with a lot of visual novels, especially doing a live read of The Devil episode 0 and In Progress episode 1. Playing episode 1 was a thing that I did on my own in the last week. It's extremely good.
Yeah.
I will say, I do hope that the pacing of the episode releases is such that, like, it doesn't take them nearly a year between episodes like it did for 0 and 1. Just because, like, I would like them more frequently than that. Ideally, it would make me.
Mhm.
And I obviously, for people who are doing it part time as like a Dojin circle, basically, I know I can't ask the world, but I would love to not have to wait like the better part of like half a decade for all this shit to come out. But we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. We're getting back to that. Aside from that, I also did Psychopomp Gold on stream, which is like a dungeon crawler themed walking simulator game. I didn't end up going back to properly like get everything yet, because I know there's lots of like extra ending shit based on like finding secrets and completing things or whatever. I haven't done that yet, just because I've decided that I'd let it sit for later. But even just like the direct 2 credits experience on that, I thought was pretty good. The last level of it's a giant time wasting pain in the ass, which is like I think my sole like real complaint with it is that I think the idea of having a walking simulator that's a dungeon crawler is fun, but I don't think the game always like uses it in a way that's actually enjoyable at all. But the vibes are there. It looks great. I like the kind of like reproductive horror, like social anxiety kind of story that's being told in this very dreamy way. Actually, it came up on stream, but the important thing that I recalled while thinking about the game, because this is also a game, and like what I brought up the reading discussion earlier, like I've been thinking about it a lot after finishing it, and remembering that Psychopomp isn't just the term for like someone who like the figure that's guiding the soul to the afterlife or whatever.
Right.
It's also in Jungian psychology the idea of something that is a mediator between the conscious and unconscious mind, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's like there's a lot of like cool dreaminess happening there, and it's like the degree to which you're supposed to take this or that literally, like, it's literally is very questionable, but there's still like an interesting. Because I think I mentioned on stream, but it's like it's a pregnancy horror or like a pregnancy anxiety horror kind of game, but in a way that is very different to how I think that is usually like presented. And I don't want to get into it more than that because I did stream it. If you don't want to buy it, and if you don't want to watch my stream of it, then you can buy it and play it yourself.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
It was enjoyable. Yeah, I enjoyed watching you play it. I think it's kind of I don't even know how to put it. It's just dense enough, but it's like not too long, but there's a lot of meat on that bone, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's very interesting. So, yeah, I vote for it. I vote that you go and buy it if you didn't watch us play it, or go watch that playthrough.
And go watch us play it because, we want people to watch our streams, so do that.
Right.
Yeah. Let me think. Aside from that, not too much aside from that, honestly. I think we've been continuing Legend of the Galactic Sundays. That's been a lot of fun. Please join us for that on the Discord.
Yeah, that show's extremely really good.
We're going to be finishing the first series this coming Sunday on the 16th. The last 5 episodes of the first series. It's going to be great. And I'm really looking forward to doing the rest of the show because our scheduling is going to work out very well for this. I'm very happy about it. I feel like things are falling into place.
I'm very excited because I am thoroughly enjoying Legends of the Galactic Heroes.
Me too.
It is weird though, because Ben was joking in one stream that like sometimes this looks like an episode of G.I. Joe, and I and I don't mean like the character models. I just mean like the animation style and the color palettes. Because that was the style at the time, as they say, right?
And also we found out that this animation studio did overseas work on like Western cartoons.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that it's like, so it has that same kind of look that a lot of animation just kind of had at that point in time.
There's one too many frames of like, here's a guy and he's looking at the camera and his eyes are like expressionless, but his mouth is like an open smile.
Yeah.
It holds there for a second or two in a way that's so mildly distressing.
And it's especially whenever they're on the on Reinhardt's like family compound. just the color palette of the trees and the sky and like the buildings around them are like any given small town that the Joes go to for a PSA at the end of the episode.
But the point I was making is that like it sometimes looks like an episode of fucking G.I. Joe, and I just feel for the people working on it because like you go and you make Legends of the Galactic Heroes and it kicks ass and it's so dense and there's like 100 million goddamn characters and it's all like politics and intrigue. And then they go and they make an American cartoon and it's just fucking dog shit. Like they just gotta go make like the most like absolute fucking horse shit for these like smooth brain fucking American children in the 80s. They've all got lead poisoning from the gasoline in the air, right? And like, you know, there's no more laws against selling toys to children via commercials and cartoons, right? So you've got these Japanese companies that have got to go like, you know, they've got to have like external work making stuff for fucking G.I. Joe and stuff, and it's just like, man, I mean, it's a stone cold bummer. And
it's definitely also that dynamic's made worse by knowing that this studio was the original studio adapting Ranma 1/2 before that got taken over by Sunshine, and after that happened, basically all their business dried up and they just went bankrupt.
Yeah.
Like they barely finished Legend of the Galactic Heroes under the fucking wire before that company went bankrupt.
That fucking sucks.
That does seem like the kind of show that you have to like, that you are unsure if you'll have a job by the time it's over.
Yeah, well, it took them like most of a decade to finish it, I think.
Well, yeah, it's 110 fucking episodes worth of OVAs, and it's all again just like dense political drama, right? And
yeah, I think it was like 1990 to 1997, and they bankrupted in 1997.
That fucking sucks.
It is definitely the kind of show where I'm probably gonna have to watch it again.
That's
to
correct.
make sure I've fully grasped everything that's actually happening.
Yeah,
Ben, I gotta stress, I've watched this through in full before.
Yeah.
And I'm still like every single episode we watch going like, oh fuck, right, I forgot that happened completely. When we hit the moment that happened at the end of the most recent episode we watched, the heartbreaking thing that happened there, I had literally the entire time I was like, oh my god, I forgot that happened completely. I thought some part of me thought that character was still alive.
Yeah, no. It rules. What a good show though. It's so good. And just very dense. It's very dense. And they literally don't make them like this anymore. They tried to. Well, what they got now sucks. It's so much uglier. Modern, the fucking new version of
the new version.
Oh, the new version looks hideous.
It's hideous. It's so bad.
I watched the first like episode or two of that when it came out just to know, because I was like, you know, like I just want to know if this is at all a good replacement. And like they're very clearly have made it clear they're trying to do a full adaptation of the same length again, but like every episode, but like it is just the J.J. Abrams-ification of Star Trek of Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Ugh.
Like all the
What a
the
tragedy.
character designs are way worse. They have way less riz. It's a lot like the gone are the stark like kind of like analog mechanics of the ships, and now it's just like Star Trek holo interfaces and like doing like fucking dogfighting maneuvers in space, and it fucking sucks.
No, lame. Fuck that.
It's deeply lame, which is why it was always like, no, it's not about that Dinoitheis, or however the fuck you pronounce it, is not done. It's also just worse.
Yeah, exactly. It's just worse. And the character designs fucking suck. They, like I said, that's what I say when I'm like, they don't make them like this anymore. They literally don't make them like this anymore. Like, there's a lot of stuff about old anime that's kind of janky and ugly, but old anime had really good fucking character designs, and You know.
You just don't anymore.
You just don't see that kind of stuff anymore. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's sad.
It's one, like, yeah, the evidence of this is there in the remake, but even if the remake wasn't there, I can confidently say you can't put Oberstein in a modern anime. Period. They just won't let you.
No. They won't let you make a character look like it anymore. You got to make him pretty. And I'm like, Oberstein is perfect the way God made him.
He's not even especially ugly. He's just kind of plain and weird looking. But like, you can't have a character who looks like that in an anime nowadays.
No, he's a main character in an anime. That means he has to be like some kind of default attractive. It's like, no, that's not the point. That's not why that character is so compelling. It's because he's standing next to the most beautiful man in the Empire and is just like in charge and capable despite all of that, right? It's like, oh, okay. That's the cool thing. There's so many like fun, unique faces in this old anime. You have just there's so many characters. Honestly, it's a little fucking insane. There's so many character designs, right? Like, everybody, there's no same face. It's absurd. Like, everybody is so identifiable, like, just at a glance.
It's like, even among, like Young Wenli and Reinhardt and Kirchheis and Royenthal and Mittermeier and Schenkopf, like, all of them are, like, relatively attractive in some capacity or another, but also none of them look like they're related at all.
No, they're all attractive in different ways. It's really cool. There's just so much, like, variety of character design, right?
Like, the way in which Royenthal is a Bishoujo, and the way in which Kirchheis is a Bishoujo, and the way in which Reinhardt is a Bishoujo are completely different. They are from different evolutionary lines of pretty boy.
Absolutely. I like Bishoujo, by the way.
Or Bishonen, excuse me.
No,
close enough.
No, it's beautiful. They're beautiful women. It's fine.
Look, much as I've said that if you had simply listened to Young Wenli earlier, this would be a half-core show. If you got Reinhardt on HRT, this would also be a half-core show.
Yeah. I could save her. Oh, it's a great show, though. I look forward to Galactic Sundays, basically.
Yeah, no, it's
every Sunday.
I love understanding maybe 65% on average of a show that I'm watching.
Sure, absolutely.
It's great.
Me an excuse to watch again. I wish it were at all available in high def anywhere.
Yeah, that's like it used to be streaming on High Dive, and that was originally my plan, was to just restream from High Dive because it's like a functional. Like, some of it's upscale, some of it's redrawn, but it was like 720 or 1080 or whatever. And in the last year, High Dive just stopped, and now there's no like legal streaming way to do the original Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which is crazy because that fucking box set isn't available anymore, and on eBay goes for like $4,000.
Insane. Completely
incomprehensible.
Insane. Yeah, no, it's so disgusting.
So it's really, it is a shame that the only way I have to share it with you is like a 360p rip that was fan subbed that I got from fucking the Internet Archive.
Yeah.
But also, it feels more real that way.
It feels grounded.
It feels like the correct way to watch that show.
It's an anime that's old enough that watching it at a higher fidelity than 360p feels wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
I once tried to watch the original Gundam on my smart TV, which I didn't realize that had the fucking soap opera mode on by default. And I watched as it tried to interpolate a 60 frame per second animation of something in the anime, like moving across the frame at something that would have optimistically been 3 frames a second before. And it's like, what the fuck is this was not meant to move that smoothly.
I can't handle it, Chief. I'm sorry.
It's too
I don't know what the TV's like. I don't know what you're trying to show me. I don't know what this is.
But yeah, that's basically been my week. We're doing more of The Devil on Wednesday, which I think this goes up before we do it, right?
This will go up. I might put it up tonight. I don't know. I might just throw it up early just to get out of the way.
If you're hearing this and it's Tuesday or Wednesday, rejoice. You can still probably come to the stream. If it's Thursday, I'm deeply sorry. You should have been paying attention to the Discord and or my social media profile. And on Friday, I'll be doing Sorry We're Closed, the vaguely romantic horror-themed candy-colored Resident Evil kind of send-up game. It's got a little bit of like it's got a little like Killer 7 vibes a little bit. It's very stylish, and the subject matter seems appropriate for the holiday, which I will be spending alone because that is how I prefer it.
Yeah.
However, for the lonely hearts out there, I will play a romance-themed horror game for you.
Yay!
Just for you.
Just for you.
And yeah, that's been my week.
All right. Yeah, I'm in a holding pattern as well. I haven't done anything new. Besides, I've been playing 76 when I have free time and watching more Deep Space Nine.
Yay! Where'd you stop? Do you remember?
I just finished the episode in season 2 where Bashir and O'Brien get stranded on a planet because they destroyed a bunch of war crime weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And the government between the warring planets was like, in order to make sure that no one can use these weapons, we're going to kill you too.
Yeah, oh yeah! That's a good one.
It's a really good episode.
I don't like remember a ton of like the season 1, season 2 episodes of that show like just on memory, but that one's one of the ones like if you asked me to like, hey, do you remember a Deep Space Nine episode? That one's it.
Yeah,
it's like the first one that jumps to my head.
It's actually funny because it's such a the next generation plot.
That's what I thought, because like it opens with Bashir's narration being like, yeah, they asked us to come aboard this ship and we're working on it. I'm like, that should be Geordi and like Data doing this.
Yeah, right? Or like, yeah. And because eventually Deep Space Nine kind of finds its footing and becomes like about the goings on of the space station, because, you know, that's the important part, is kind of everybody's lives stuck on this space station and kind of the politics surrounding the space station and the wormhole attached to it and that kind of thing.
Right.
But in the first season, the first 2 seasons, it feels a lot like we have all these leftover TNG scripts. What the fuck do we do with them? Right?
Yeah,
like,
no,
Voyager
for sure.
Voyager also has had some of that. Oh, I watched an absolutely dog shit episode of Voyager too.
Hell yeah, you did.
But I repeat myself.
Voyager season 1 is the Baki of Star Trek. You make people watch it because it's bad, but not in the way that's like really boring and like makes you regret being alive, like TNG season 1. In a way where you go, what the fuck? Why did they make this?
Make it this way?
I did. Oh, that reminds me. I did watch one episode of Deep Space Nine that also made me go, "Why did you write it this way?"
Which one?
Which was the one where the aliens from the Gamma Quadrant, their ship kind of like nearly crashes into the station, and they beam the people on board, and they can't understand them for the first hour, and then they're like, oh, we have a prophecy that
sucks.
We need to come to colonize on this planet here, and they're like, oh, you have men in charge? That's so quaint. And then
that's the one where a bunch of religious fanatics say, you should let us come live on Bajor because God says you should.
I feel like I might have skipped that episode early. No. I think I got to like that feeling like, oh, I ain't sitting through this episode.
I was waiting because I'm watching it, waiting for the turn to happen, because Cisco is like, hey, I found you this planet. It's like perfectly good. It's not inhabited. You can have it. It's got plenty of fertile farmland and everything. And they're like, no, we want Bajor though.
But we want to live on Bajor.
Can we live on Bajor? And they're like, Bajor's falling apart. The only viable space is like a barren wasteland. Like, no, but we're good farmers. We could fix it though.
We can take the barren
And then it's
space.
like, and Cisco's like, or you could go on the other planet that is perfectly compatible and like, you know, has no qualms whatsoever. They're like, no, we want to live on Bajor though.
They're trying.
And then the main woman's like dumbass son hijacks a ship and like tries to like land on Bajor to do,
and is like killed.
And explodes. Yeah, and explodes and dies.
Yeah, but he isn't shot out of the sky. He just doesn't know how to pilot the ship, I guess.
They're like, oh, there's an issue, like when one of the engines is about to explode, like it's a crappy ship, we didn't have time to get it repaired. Mm-hmm. And you had to land, so they fire a warning shot to get him to stop. They're like, and the ship explodes, and the Bajoran fighters are like, we didn't hit him.
We didn't hit him.
It just exploded. And and then the woman has the nerve to be mad at Kira. At the end of the episode, Kira's like, I'm deeply sorry for your loss, and I you'll be happy on this new planet. She's like, I guess we couldn't get along after all. It's like, bitch.
Sisko is just like putting a hand like, listen, you're moving to the farmland planet because Bajor's strained political metaphor for the Israeli state is hard enough without having another group of religious colonials come settle it.
It's insane just how like they're like, we're gonna do a refugee immigration episode, and just the most dog-brained approach to it. God says we should be allowed to move to the shittiest part of your planet that does not have the resources to take care of us. How dare you not let us move in?
Mm-hmm. It's not like, because TNG had an episode where Picard had to deal with a planet that was going to be inhabited by the Cardassians, that was inhabited already by actual Native Americans.
Oh, that episode also fucking sucks.
Yeah, and that episode sucks
too.
But at least in that one, it's like, no, we're the Native Americans. We've been through this before, man. Like, the metaphor is not as strained as, like, no, we don't want to go anywhere because, we've heard, oh, you're just gonna relocate us.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I can get to that one. It's still a little strained, but, like, it's not as cringeworthy as, no, but we just don't wanna.
Is that why Chakotay is Chakotay? Because...
It could be.
Because there was a native... Because, like, okay, so one of the running themes, or one of the running plot thingies tying TNG, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager together is the idea of the Maquis. I don't think you've met the Maquis.
I've met the Maquis. The Maquis were in TNG.
They were in TNG, yeah. So, but like the Maquis are like the people who basically got kicked off their planet because the Cardassians are like, well, we're moving in, and the Federation says we can, and okay, and they're all pissed about it, so they want to fight back, right? And I'm realizing now that the reason Chakotay, who is Janeway's first officer in Voyager, by the way, Ben, is just a bad Native American pastiche is because of that fucking TNG episode, which was also a bunch of Native Americans getting kicked off of their... Oh, Rick Berman, you're going to hell forever!
Now, to be fair to Rick Berman, and I say this with the most disdain in my heart imaginable, because I hate giving Rick Berman any credit.
That's correct.
Chakotay, believe it or not, completely unrelated to those Native Americans.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I think that, like, he's Native American, like, because they had already established that idea in TNG. Do you know what I mean? Not like he's connected to that specific group of people.
But Rick Berman was like, this is a good idea. I'm going to hold on to this.
Right.
Well, here's the actual problem. The first is a very normal thing of, like, the actual reason they did Chakotay for Native American, and this is, like, in his thing, is just like, yeah, we were trying to, like, think about, like, human ethnicities and ancestries that we hadn't represented that much in the show, and it just, like, very quickly was like, well, yeah, we should have a guy who's, like, actually doing, who's like, Native American, like, and, like, still an active, like, sustains that culture, because, like, we just really haven't done, like, there are not really a whole lot of Native American characters on the show, like, with the exception of that episode. However, as Oates has alluded to in the past, the reason why his character sucks ass is because they were advised by a guy who is from whose family is Eastern European Jewish, who misrepresented himself as Native American for his entire writing career.
Star Trek.
Oh, even worse. He was exposed as an imposter in 1984, but despite this, that just never actually stuck, and he still managed to trick people into thinking he was a Native American.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Fuck me. Okay, sure. Star Trek, I do love you, but boy, you make it hard sometimes.
The important thing is that refugee episode is followed immediately by the one where Chris Sarandon plays a sleazy businessman who forms a rivalry with Quark. So, you know,
that's all you need.
That's all you need. Listen,
any
Quark episodes are good. It's fine.
I have noticed, by the way, and I don't know if this is just like an actual rule or if it's just like it just, you know, happened to be this way. Quark is in every episode of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Even
if he doesn't do anything. I don't know if Armin Shimmerman like had a thing in his contract to be like Quark has to be at least in one scene in every episode of Deep Space Nine.
I don't think that holds. Like, as the show goes on, we get more and more Quarkless episodes, which fucking sucks.
Actually, survey says he is in every single episode.
Really? Am I just misremembering?
So, of the main cast, it looks like Cisco, both Ciscos, Odo, Bashir, Kira, O'Brien, and Quark are credited in every single episode.
Huh.
Wow. That's actually
I didn't realize Jake was in every episode.
I don't know if he is or not, but he's credited in every episode, apparently. They all have 173 episodes listed.
Huh.
He shouldn't be credited in every episode, because he's definitely not in every episode of...
Yeah, no, he was not in the one I just watched. I know that for sure. I just watched it, and I do not remember a scene with Jake in it.
I'm admittedly going off of IMDb, but I also know that, like, IMDb... I wonder if maybe they're just doing it by season appearances or something.
They could literally be doing it off the fact that Jake's actor's name appears in the opening credits of the show. So he is a literal credited appearance, right?
In that case, that might be the case, and it's by seasons, and the characters who aren't like in the thing just aren't every season or whatever.
Right.
But I have noticed that every episode I've watched so far, unless I'm missing something, every episode has like a scene where Quark shows up and says something and then probably just leaves.
That's because Quark is one of the best characters in the show. Is he the best character in the show? I don't know. They're all good. It's hard. You can't make
I'm only in season 3. I feel like Quark might be the best character in the show.
That's honestly, if you got through all 7 seasons of Deep Space Nine and you came out of it saying Quark is the best character in the show, yeah, I would be like, that's a completely valid choice. I think Garrick and Dukat and Bashir and Kira.
They're all good, is the thing.
I love Garrick and Dukat, but it's hard for me to go they're the best character in a show when they are like both side characters.
Yeah, they don't show up as much.
Yeah. Garrick is in the last season a lot, though, which kind of helps. Kind of helps the fact that season 7's kind of weak, so we have a lot of Garrick to make up for it. Yay!
Yay!
I'm very excited for Worf to join the cast, though.
Yes. He's so good.
Because I feel like
he's so much better in Deep Space Nine than he is on TV.
I feel like
that makes me really excited, honestly.
Yeah. He's going to add a lot to this group.
He is the exact last piece of the puzzle the show needed. It takes a while to get there. It takes until season 4, I think.
Not that far away, at least. That's
cool. Not that far. But, like, he is the last thing. Because, like, the cast has got so much good chemistry, and they're just all so electric to watch, right? And they're all fun and goofy, and it's all, like, predominantly about, like, these weirdos being friends, right?
Right.
And that's fun. But what you need is one guy who's just a huge stick in the mud, right?
Exactly, yeah.
To, like, really be, like, the immovable object in that cast.
It's like you already have Odo, but Odo's diplomatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Odo also kind of has, like... He's very, like you said, diplomatic, and he has kind of a streak of, like, I wouldn't say his morals are flexible, but they are not as inflexible as a Klingon's.
Right.
Right?
When Odo is like stiff and stubborn and standoffish and whatever other thing he is, it's because he's doing it autistically.
Mhm.
And when Worf does it, he's doing it because he's your uncle.
That's correct. Yeah.
We also really need we need a complete deadbeat like Worf to balance out how good of a father Sisko is.
That's correct.
I need Worf and like Worf to talk about Jake with Sisko, and Worf to be like, if I ever have a son.
Can we please get Dad of War, but you play as Worf?
Yes, please.
Let me show you how to use a bottle, boy.
It's my favorite thing about TNG, about Worf especially, is that Worf is what people think Goku is in terms of being a father.
Just bad dad, yeah.
Future Alexander was a better father to Alexander than Worf was.
Well, because he knows what he's missing.
That's exactly right. That's so good.
God. No, I love I'm loving Deep Space Nine. It's so good. It's so entertaining.
Good. Voyager is interesting. That's all I got right now. Voyager.
So you know what I found out looking up like Star Trek stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's like a kids, like a CG cartoon for kids, out there, and it's like the premise is like their ship gets stranded somewhere, and it's just the kids like trying to look out for themselves, and going on lighthearted adventures type things. The only thing they have to like be in charge of them and give them guidance is a holographic replica of what's her name? The captain in Voyager. Janeway. It's just a hologram of Janeway that was supposed to be like their teacher.
Hold on. Your only chaperone for these children is Catherine Janeway?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? I was going to make a joke about this being Star Trek Lord of the Flies, but I think that might actually be what's shaping up.
Like how do you...
Miss Janeway, Jimmy stole from the pile of food. What should you do? Well, you need to execute him to set an example. Well, how do you execute someone? If you have a large rock, that will do.
Oh my god, it's so
fucking hell.
The out of any captain in Starfleet you could pick, you have picked the absolute worst one to be in charge of children.
You have done ultra misogyny by picking Catherine Janeway just because she's the woman and thus like a safe maternal figure. And in reality, like the most deranged of any Star Trek captain.
Yeah,
and you would have been better off putting fucking Kirk in the hologram.
Yeah, no, Kirk would have done better for sure.
Who do we know in Starfleet that could serve as a teacher to these children? We can make an AI version of them as a teacher. I don't know. How about O'Brien's wife? She kind of is like the only teacher on this. No, Janeway.
Catherine Janeway is going to be in charge of the future of a bunch of children. And they were never seen again, turns out. Great.
Yeah, one of them got an infection on their arm, and they asked hologram Janeway, what should we do? And she says, you should make a knife out of flint and sever the arm.
You gotta cut the arm.
It's the only way.
Yeah, it's the only way.
You'll just have to learn to endure the pain. Use a cattle iron to cauterize the wound after.
There's part of me that just wants to watch this, like a few episodes of this show, just to see what they were thinking.
I need you to watch a couple episodes of the children's show with hologram Janeway, and then watch like the first handful of Voyager episodes.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're
Not
doing.
even that many. Like 2 or 3 would be plenty.
The episode where Janeway is like, we're going to go explore a nebula entirely because the replicators are running out of replicator juice and I need my coffee. And that's it. It rules. She's the perfect character, is what I'm telling you.
I don't remember what episode it's from. There's a later bit on that note where she walks into like into the cafe area. I forget what it's called. And she's like, coffee, black. And Neelix is there like, Captain, you don't understand. 2 more of the replicators have gone. And she just grabs him by the shoulders. Is like, I'm only going to say this once. Coffee, black.
Delightful.
I'm obsessed with her. It's
and that's who you're
problem.
having defend the livelihood of these stranded children.
Oh,
I can't wait to get to
God.
Voyager.
It's I'm not gonna say horrible. That was a bit hyperbolic. It is interesting.
You're still in the first season. The first season's very bad. I'm not gonna.
Kate Mulgrew's back has to be straining under the weight of carrying this entire fucking show. It's incredible.
I love that it's just like a fucking curse of the 90s era of Star Trek, in which you get 7 seasons, but the first 2 are gonna be bad.
The first and Deep Space Nine's first 2 seasons are comparably like fine. They are fine. They're good.
Roughly any time that Wesley was still on the ship era of TNG.
Yeah. Like season 3, season 4 of TNG is about where we're at with fucking Deep Space Nine. Yeah.
Yeah, there are like some stinkers in the first 2 seasons of Deep Space Nine, but unlike my attempts to do the first season or 2 of TNG, I don't regret watching season 1 or 2 of Deep Space Nine. There's a lot of good shit in those seasons.
Yeah.
It's
the only show that unilaterally escaped the curse. And the thing I've told Sarah before, and then I'll tell you, Ben, as encouragement, is you get to season 2 of Voyager, and it's still bad. But the ways in which it are bad are way more entertaining.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Categorically one of the single worst episodes of Star Trek ever made.
They celebrate it as a holiday. They celebrate Threshold Day as a holiday. I didn't know what Threshold Day was until Saturn was like, Happy Threshold Day, everyone. I'm like, what the fuck is Threshold Day? And they're like, it's the worst episode of Voyager.
Yeah, it's in season 2. Depending who you ask, it might be the worst episode of Star Trek ever made. However, I think it's extremely good insofar as it is bad in an incredibly entertaining way.
I'm so excited.
We may have to do a watch party of Threshold then. I'm very curious.
Okay, we can do a watch party of Threshold, absolutely.
I would love that. Threshold is all-timer. But that's also that's a season that has Tuvix in it. You'll get the Tuvix at some point. It's a very good episode. And by good, I mean it's also bad, but in a way it's entertaining. I really like it. It is, despite its name, it is like a pinnacle of Catherine Janeway being Catherine Janeway.
Yay! My beautiful wife!
Speaking of very bad Star Trek things, I found out something insane just reading about like the fate of characters in TNG because I'm not watching Picard.
Oh God, no! Fuck
correct.
I'm also probably not going to watch any of the movies.
I want to watch the movies just because they seem entertainingly bad instead of just Picard. You know?
My understanding is that there's at least one of them that's good, and then most of the later ones are just like, Patrick Stewart wanted to ride an ATV in this movie, so he put a vehicle segment in this movie.
So Star Trek Enterprise, the prequel series?
Yeah, the Bush era
2004.
Yeah. Do you know how that series ends?
No. I know nothing about that series aside from the captain sucking.
It is revealed that the either the entire show or just the finale of the show is a recording that Riker is watching.
Why?
Yeah, it takes place in God, which episode? Hold on, let me see if I can track down which episode the whole thing takes place during.
A specific episode of TNG?
Yeah, there's a specific episode of TNG that the whole flashback takes place in.
That is here's the thing. Bad ending to a show, definitely. I respect the audacity of retroactively going, our show was important because it took place during a bit forgettable moment during a show that aired more than 10 years prior.
I will tell you this, though, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but I do want to use it to entice you both to keep watching Deep Space Nine. So I will say that Deep Space Nine does that exact same thing, but it's good, and it's with the best episode of Star Trek, the original series.
That won't do a whole lot for me. I never watched the original series.
Okay.
I will likely not notice the thing unless it is like you grab me by the head and like put the little.
Oh no, it is very blatant. Trust me.
Okay.
But it is the Star Trek episode. I'll tell you.
It
is the Star Trek episode, The Trouble with Tribbles.
Okay, I know that one then.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that one through cultural osmosis at least.
Yes. It is tied to that, and it is literally probably a top 10 episode of Deep Space Nine. Please watch it.
Spectacular.
It is. So the entire series, Star Trek Enterprise, takes place during season 7, episode 11, The Pegasus.
Which episode is that?
Which is the one where Riker's first captain comes back. And they have to try to find the ship in the asteroid belt, and they have to get it out before the Romulans do, because it has a top secret weapon on it.
Oh, right.
And it's a cloaking device, and Riker is like, hey man, we agreed the Federation can't use cloaking devices. And the captain's like, yeah, but I wanna.
Yeah, well, I got news about Deep Space Nine too.
So the whole thing, and this isn't even like a big deal. Like episode, it's just like kind of a regular TNG episode. It's not like a groundbreaking thing. It's like, yeah, Riker decided to watch this whole recreation of events of the first Enterprise to kind of get some idea of how he should handle dealing with his first captain.
That's
and also
insane.
because they decided to set it during TNG season 7 and not like, later in the timeline. And Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis are 10 years or plus older than they were. They have to have really bad makeup to make them look younger.
That's true. That's correct.
Great. Star Trek staple, but in reverse. That's so funny.
Thanks, Star Trek. Good job. No wonder why no one watches anything after Voyager.
That's correct.
Star Trek understands the essential fateism of the only reason you establish any kind of rule at all is so you can violently break it.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. Section 31 is set before TNG?
That's right.
Oh my god.
It's like set before TNG by several decades in a way that apparently, based on what I saw from the RLM review, just completely doesn't make sense with other like establishing timeline things that it's playing with.
Cool.
Like this character who showed up in TNG who looked like 40 in TNG based on the events of Section 31 should have been like 80 or 90 years old.
Right.
Great.
And they just didn't they just didn't account for it at all.
You just listen, watch all of 90s Trek and all of the lower decks, and that's it. By all accounts, that's all you need.
The lower decks is allowed to do fun things and be cool because it's a cartoon, and also Kurtzman is not involved.
He's not paying attention whatsoever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Kurtzman, even more so that here's the thing: I can't blame J.J. Abrams for ruining Star Trek because after he was done fucking it, he left.
Exactly. And then Kurtzman stuck around.
You couldn't chase Kurtzman out of that bed with a shotgun.
Yeah. It is funny though, because we've talked extensively now about how like the first 2 seasons of pretty much all 90s Trek is bad, right?
Right.
And everybody talks about how unfair it is that the lower decks only got 5 seasons. But if you think about it, so did TNG.
Yeah.
It's so like, I think I mentioned this, like, it's so funny watching season 1 and 2 of TNG and just being like, this is a different show.
Oh yeah. Well, it literally is a different show because they're reused original series scripts. Yeah.
Like so. it feels like you had a 2-season pilot episode. And then the real show starts in season 3 where they kind of like actually establish like who the characters are and like what everyone's role is going to be and like which characters worked out and which ones weren't. So they kind of cut them, and it's great. I love Star Trek. I love Star Trek so much. When are we going to do the Star Trek podcast, or we just do like just talk about episodes of Star Trek.
I think we're doing that right now. We're turning.
we're doing it right now.
Slowly turning into Red Letter Media.
we were originally planning for this to be a shorter, breezier recording, but I'm noticing we're an hour in and we haven't gotten the news yet.
We should get to the news,
We should get to the news. Don't worry. I'll talk more about Deep Space Nine as I get further into it.
Okay.
It's very rare that the actual news article gives us the title of our episode. But here we are. I could make Fart Fart Boobie Fart the game, and maybe it would eventually get taken down. Devs reveal why the consoles are drowning in e-slop.
What?
Yes, this is about how both the eShop and PlayStation Network are just full of like completely fake garbage, like that Animal Crossing knockoff that we talked about. I think the last episode.
Yeah. That quote is from, who was it in this article that actually said that? It's somewhere in here. That was a quote from someone they interviewed for this article, talking about like how devs are talking about that. Yeah, because there's just no one paying attention.
There's just nobody doing quality assurance anymore.
Yeah,
right.
Because you're also you're able to just put your game up on the store to sell eventually.
Yeah.
Like you don't actually have to put the finished game up. You can just put like, hey, here's coming soon is our game, blah blah blah. And there's just no like checking that.
That's weird because for years and years it was like hard to get onto the PlayStation Store and to the eShop, and that was like kind of the one thing it had over. I mean, for a long time, even Steam used to do that, but then they stopped. And so then it was like, okay, well, the one thing differentiating the PlayStation Network and the eShop from Steam, which was full of slop and is now full of more slop than ever, was that like there was some degree of quality control where it was like, no, we're gonna like actually check your game and make sure it's like at least functional and decent before we put it up for sale. And now it's just like, no, it's whatever, it's just all slop.
Yeah. So apparently, according to the article, it is just that they must have changed the process at some point. This is a pretty in-depth article, so you'd have to like really read to go in depth here, but like I guess the idea is that you submit yourself as a developer, and if you get approved as a developer, it doesn't matter what you put up. So like once you are verified to sell stuff on the eShop,
I see.
It doesn't actually matter what you're selling.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like Steam also has that system, but the difference is that when you report Steam, like, hey, this is like blatantly scam shit, they send someone to look into it, and if they find it's blatantly scam shit, they blacklist you and everything you ever touched.
So yeah, I don't know when this exactly changed, but yeah, like Saturn mentioned this last episode, where like, yeah, they just don't have quality control anymore.
That seems, I mean, obviously it works out for Sony and them, because even if you buy a slop video game, they still get a cut. Basically what I'm saying is that I guess I am just an accelerationist for this game industry collapse. Chop chop, come on. We need to get cracking.
And I think it might be, not to say that it's not a problem, because it is a huge problem. But it's also like a lot of I don't think people are getting tricked by these games in the same way that like other scams or other like slop products are being sent out.
No, because it has to work to some extent, otherwise they wouldn't do it. And the problem is the people who are getting tricked by it are kids.
Yeah, the problem is like us, people like us know that like, I don't know, fucking whatever. Like people like us know that Animal Crossing isn't on PlayStation Network.
Right.
But if some child has unfettered access to a PlayStation 5 and it's like, oh man, I wish I had Animal Crossing on the PlayStation 5, and they see the AI slop garbage that looks like Animal Crossing, and there's like a pre-order link for $50, they'll go, oh boy, Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you remember the trend a couple years ago of procedurally generated slop YouTube children's content?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It exists because like there are a lot of kids these days who are just latchkey kids. They're iPad babies, right? They get sat in front of a computer or an iPad or a PlayStation with just free reign access to mom's credit card on the fucking PSN, buy whatever you want, who cares, and they can't tell the difference. They don't know. It's just slop for children. That's all it is.
You know what? And I'm looking at this now, and I'm realizing that I was misinterpreting how the store actually looks, because this is just what the front page of the PlayStation Store looks like.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Oh, dire.
Yeah.
Dire.
Because the problem is that, like, you know, what I was expecting was more like like Steam, you have to dig to find the slop, right? Like, because it's not getting promoted, it's not getting on the front page. But like, I guess I haven't checked the PlayStation Store or eShop in a while. But like, yeah, like you can see, you know, game that was announced at Game Awards, Onimusha Way of the Sword, next to fake mouthwashing.
Yeah.
Also right above that is Lethal Corpo, which is, you know, a lethal company, and Half-Blade, which I think is supposed to be Half-Blade Hero, which is like a weird early access thing, but is clearly using like an AI generated picture of some knights.
Oh yeah, like 85% of the stuff on this picture is AI generated as well, right?
Yeah, and it's like, it's complete, like, this is your premium console experience. Imagine if you spent like the $740 or $800 or whatever fucking amount of dollars on a PS5 Pro with a disc drive, and you actually went onto the PlayStation Store and just saw this. Like this screen, if anything, is like the argument for, no, we're not ready for a digital only console future.
Good God,
because
no.
the thing is,
Absolutely
these weird scammers don't have the money to publish physically.
No.
Like, you don't have like the $35 box for Schoolboy Simulator on a GameStop shelf. It simply doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's extremely dire looking at all of this.
Yeah.
You have to have at least enough money and credibility to get Fangamer to do a limited run for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's that is literally the minimum standard to be a real video game.
You can do a scam limited run games experience instead. That's good, right?
I'm getting I have pre-ordered, there's a Fangamer, I think it's Fangamer, a limited release of the recent indie RPG Stars in Time, which is like a black and white game made by a single person in like RPG Maker.
I know Stars in Time.
Like 2 versions ago. But like, that is the minimum threshold for a real video game.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You have to be real enough to get an actual physical publishing deal, or otherwise you shouldn't be allowed on the PlayStation Store.
It's so insane to me.
Apparently, the Nintendo website has a bit more standards when it comes to what's on the front page, but the eShop is a disaster.
Oh, the eShop is just slop.
horrible.
Yeah, you can literally go into the eShop right now and just find AI generated slop from top to bottom, right? Like, that's all it is.
And also, like we established in that screenshot of Sony, the thing of these are a lot of just like really naked, like, we're going to try and SEO lift a different popular video game, and as a way to like put out some like fucking extremely cheap asset flip whatever thing that we sell to you for $10, even though it cost us like nothing to make.
Yeah,
because like the margins on that are terrible, but it will get enough people for it to have been worth it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially because a lot of these slop developers they're not based in the United States, so like the return on investment is much higher for them. Yeah, right.
When it costs you $5 to rip the models from mouthwashing and put them in a reskinned RE4 phone port,
they're not even really doing that. They're just, most of this shit is UE and Unity asset flipping horseshit. Like, you could do an entire like 2.5 hour long YouTube video about, so UE5 has a what's the word? It has an example game in it called Lyra, I think is what it's called, and it's literally just like, it's a third person shooter, kind of Fortnite-y looking thing. It's not a real video game. It's just supposed to act as like a framework, right? To like show you how to work in Unreal Engine 5. There's a whole subgenre of video games out there. It's a lot of crypto slop. Go watch a YouTuber out there named John, who talks about it. It's a lot of crypto slop, but there's a whole subgenre of video games that are just, we took Lyra and slapped, like, you know, asset flip store shit on top of that framework, and now we're going to sell it to you for $20, right?
Yeah.
There's tons of that out there. It's insane.
Also, there's tons of these, and like this might just be my lens as someone who follows who follows and regularly watches a particular Twitch variety streamer. But there's a lot of these where the business model is, I'm gonna make this game for $5. It's like complete dog shit, and some popular Twitch streamer who just plays a lot of $3 dog shit is gonna play it because it costs $3, and you know that's a stream, and it's gonna trick a bunch of credulous 14-year-olds into buying my $3 video game.
Like, yeah, there is a sort of like trying to use so bad it's good, but it's all just bad trash, right? It's bleak out there, folks. It's really bad.
Yeah.
In every industry these days. So,
the thing is, we're now getting into the distinction between a bad video game and slop.
Well, yeah, a bad video game and a scam video game, right? Like,
this is the age of monsters.
Oh, God, yeah.
The new world is struggling to be more.
We need more games like The Quiet Man.
No, we don't. Shut the hell up, Ben.
Absolutely not, Ben. Get out of here.
I would rather have a dozen Quiet Mans than perpetual mouth washing.
No, they're the same thing.
No, because here's the thing, Ben. And, like, I understand what you mean because, like, I don't want perpetual mouth washing in the world. There's no world in which perpetual mouth washing is ever going to be made or move any units or generate any kind of discussion. The Quiet Man is like a national nightmare, and I don't even think I live in the country it was made in. Like, people played that game, they streamed that game, they talked about that game. Square Enix spent some amount of money marketing that piece of shit. Complete waste of everybody's time. I'd rather people just go, look, I'm making this game. It's called perpetual mouthwashing. You know, you've heard of it. You know it's, and like they're gonna sell 100 copies to like some assorted families who live in like Namibia, right? Like it's not going to move the needle for literally anyone.
It sucks.
But I still hate that it exists. Whereas The Quiet Man, I think should be purged.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I don't wish layoffs on anyone in the games industry, but I hope that everyone who worked on The Quiet Man got shuffled around to completely different projects and studios so that there is no chance of there ever being another Quiet Man.
Correct.
I hope the actor that played The Quiet Man got a haircut, so like people can't recognize him on the street anymore.
I hope the actor who played The Quiet Man didn't have his entire career completely ruined by being in The Quiet Man.
By being in the bad video game The Quiet Man, yeah.
Imagine if you were in a David Cage game and it just completely cratered your acting career, like forever.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to that guy who played like the rebelling android in fucking Detroit Become Human. He's a real actor, right? And I don't think I've seen him in anything since Detroit Become Human. He's like a real guy who's in things. He's in fucking Cabin in the Woods.
When I look up Detroit Become Human on IMDb, the top cast gives me the entire Japanese cast before the actual... Actually, IMDb just has the Japanese cast. What the hell?
Jesse Williams is in, like, stuff. He's, like, a real actor.
Let me look at his film. Has he been in anything since The Quiet Man? Okay, he has. He has been doing stuff.
No, you mean Jesse Williams has been in stuff since
The Quiet Man.
Detroit
Become Human. Yeah, fuck. Yeah. They're the same game.
He continues to be actively in Grey's Anatomy, which apparently is still being made as of 2024.
Yes, it is.
He was in Only Murders in the Building.
Oh,
neat.
He was in an episode of Saturday Night Live in 2021.
That's funny.
I mean, look, I'll be real. He hasn't been. Here's the thing. Actually, what I think did a lot worse for him than Detroit Become Human, which has a 9.2 on IMDb, believe it or not.
Shocking.
Is a not 1 year later, he was in the remake of Jacob's Ladder.
Oh no!
And I think that might be what made his career go very bad, because that movie was not received particularly.
No, that's not good.
Actually,
sorry, dude.
Looking at his IMDb, I don't know if he's ever been in a good movie in his lifetime.
No, I'm scrolling through it right now. I think my man just has really bad luck. Terrible.
He was in Dirty Dancing 3.
Wow.
Like poor guy, his performance in that game was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad actor. However, I think he cannot get a good role to save his fucking life.
Wow.
Oh, he the only other game he was in was NBA 2K21. But that one wasn't a Living to Dream, a Spike Lee joint, so it doesn't matter.
You're telling me that he made the decision to not be in any more video games after being in Detroit Become Human?
He's like, I'll do Detroit.
I wonder why.
He's like, I'll do Detroit Become Human, and then hey, that didn't work out. Maybe I'll try one more game. Oh.
It is. I still cannot believe that our beloved Elliot Page was like, by the way, I'm buying the TV rights to make an adaptation for Two Souls.
That is such a Morden situation. Had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong.
See, I've seen people have the cynical thing of like, he's doing it so that no one else gets the idea too. Mm-hmm. However, I do think Chris Wolfhart is correct in that the funniest thing that he will definitely do to it is make it a trans allegory and make David Cage like
hopping mad.
Oh, transcendentally angry. Yeah, 100%.
And I think and here's the thing, I don't think that game or its story are good, but if he wants to do that, I think it would be based as hell, actually.
You know what? That's perfectly fine. Good for you.
Oh my god. Ben, I didn't realize, because you were talking about watching it last week, the lady who plays Kara in Detroit Become Human is in the live action Amazon Tick.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, who does she play?
She plays Dot Everest.
Oh my god, that's why she was so familiar to me.
I would say by the episode count, I'm guessing she's a main character.
That's the main character's sister.
She's also in The Boys. Her career's doing pretty good.
Wow.
The whole time I'm watching The Tick, I'm like, who does she remind me of? Like, she feels so familiar. And I'm like, well, yeah, she's playing a kind of cynical, world-weary blonde woman in the superhero parody. Maybe I'm just thinking of Starlight from The Boys. And no, now that you say that, I'm like, oh my god, that's it. The worm in my brain that is Detroit Become Human persists.
Well, to be fair, Ben, she also plays Starlight in The Boys.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Hold the fuck up.
Yeah.
Hold the fuck up.
Oh no, excuse me, not Starlight. She plays Firecracker in The Boys.
Okay, yeah. No. Yeah, that's what I was like, no, I would have recognized that was Erin Moriarty.
However, she was in The Boys for 8 whole episodes.
Yeah, I didn't watch that season. I didn't watch the season that she was in. That's okay. Very funny then. Oh, that's great. Yeah, Misty talking great. Okay, yeah. God, that's so funny to me. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, slop.
News of some kind. AI slop. Yeah,
the slop, yeah. Well, yes, I think that's all I got. So the next topic. Nintendo patent confirms Switch 2 Joy-Con's most innovative feature.
Ah, yes, I saw this, that you can use them as a mouse.
Yeah, so the thing that was in the trailer, that was like the Joy-Cons like sliding along the ground, is real.
So I'll give my tempered excitement and my real excitement.
Sure.
Tempered excitement is, I know from my experience as someone who has played a good, decent amount of Splatoon, both 2 and 3, that the principal weakness of the Switch's Joy-Cons and their gyro is that the polling rate for them sucks ass. It's really bad. And if the new Joy-Cons are as bad at their polling rate, that thing is going to be completely worthless as like a mouse analog.
Right.
However, if those controllers are improved and the polling rate is made good instead of bad, Switch could hypothetically be the best video game console to play first-person shooters on.
That's amazing to think about, too.
That's a great thing to think about, Saturn. The most important thing, however, is Mario Paint 2.
I agree. Bring back Mario Paint 2.
I love this version of reality that exists only within your mind. It's simply not possible. I would love if it got
a beautiful mind. It's such a good idea.
I would love if it were true. You know what? I don't think they'll do it would be very Nintendo to put out a game called Mario Paint 2 that costs $60. It won't happen. However, I could believe them doing Mario Paint 2 and a sequel to their weird Mario MIDI music maker and putting those together in like some weird Switch 2 gimmick pack that's like just a bunch of like creativity tools.
So the funnier thing, and so to be fair, Saturn, I'm not the only one who thought Mario Paint 2 when they saw the Switch 2 Joy-Con as a mouse.
Right.
I've seen lots. That was like everyone's third thought when they saw the Switch 2 Joy-Con as a mouse. They're like, oh, that's pretty cool. That'll work as a mouse and keyboard type thing. And then Mario Paint 2.
Mario Paint 2. I think they should do it. They should make it they should call it the Mario Media Maker.
Oh.
So I was watching, I can't remember what video it was, but they were talking about like their predictions for Switch 2, games coming out. One of the ones that they thought was almost a guarantee is 3D Mario Maker.
That would
you just do like a grid-based platform like Minecraft, or type thing with the Mario 64 mechanics. And having a mouse would help expedite the process of making that.
I'm gonna make my bold prediction for the ability to use the Nintendo Switch controller as a mouse, okay? You're not gonna guess the video game that I'm gonna suggest they should put on the Switch too. Sony Vegas. That's right, fucker. You can be on set at your Hollywood film studio using your Nintendo Switch 2 to edit film.
That's right, folks. We're bringing Photoshop to the Nintendo Switch.
But because it's like a Nintendo Switch game, they're like, no, you have to be able to buy it. You can't just rent it. Which creates the very funny problem that the Nintendo Switch is the best platform to own Photoshop on.
What it creates we're looking at a world where we could have Clip Studio Switch.
The funniest outcome of this. I have two thoughts first I want to get out the idea of funnier than Mario Paint 2, I think, would just be them putting Mario Paint on the Virtual Console. Just classic SNES Mario Paint, because hey, we have a mouse now. We can actually do it.
Yeah, I think they should do that, because that would be great. Yeah.
Just the exact same game.
Yeah, totally.
Second, the Switch having a mouse and therefore potentially being able to do like video editing or image editing would be so funny in the wake of Microsoft's "This is an Xbox" marketing campaign, because they're like, your PC is the Xbox. Like Nintendo's like, your Switch is a PC.
That's right.
and then Microsoft is like, wait, no,
you can't do that. That's cheating.
Nintendo's like, you can use your Switch as a device to access Microsoft game streaming, and Microsoft's like, whoa, wait, no, wait.
Yeah.
Do we get a cut of that, Nintendo? No.
And then Shigeru Miyamoto eats them.
It's our platform, bitch.
Them.
I'm sorry, who are you again?
Just his jaw.
I think I heard a peasant talking.
It was a bold decision of them to do so I'm calling in from the future, actually, April 2nd, 2025. It was really bold of them when they did what everyone thought was going to be the Switch 2 details Nintendo Direct. It was just footage of them putting Phil Spencer on his knees and cutting his head off. I think it's a really bold marketing strategy for a new Nintendo console.
But I mean, it's working.
The internet's really buzzing about the Nintendo Switch 2.
They put Phil Spencer in a Final Fight Game Over sequence where he's trying to blow out the TNT.
No, you should also do that to Nick Spencer, dude.
Yes, yeah, definitely do it to Nick Spencer.
But yeah,
you need to pull him out of whatever oubliette he fell into and then do that to him instead.
They just put Phil Spencer in the thing where he's tied to a chair and has to blow out the stick of dynamite.
I can't believe they did gold experience to Phil Spencer. I don't know why.
Just now I need to see someone do a fucking somehow do the GIF animation of Phil Spencer just looking behind himself infinitely.
Yeah. What happened? By the way, I forgot to mention because it wasn't a Nintendo Direct. They found Herman Holst in a giant block of ice in the Aegean. Just floating there. The salt was keeping the ice all together, but he was just in a giant fridge-sized block of ice. His hands were up like Han Solo in the carbonite. It was pretty epic. Eventually
Herman Holst stopped thinking.
God.
Oh, God.
Next, how a small team is helping to move accessibility forward, one thumbstick at a time.
Okay.
I love accessibility attachments for controllers.
Yeah.
I think it is always so cool to see how inventive people can be to help disabled or handicapped people play video games and make this medium available to them. These are really cool add-ons for your for controller joysticks, where they are either a ring or a hook that you snap onto the controller and put your thumb in through.
You're gonna have to show me a picture.
Yeah,
I'm not grokking this. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, let me pull up
I'm sure it's super useful.
Yeah, let me pull up the YouTube video that these came from, and you can see, because it's like a little hook you attach to the joystick that your thumb goes through.
Oh,
and so that way you don't have to actually keep your thumb on the joystick. You can just put it through there. It's like if you have weak muscles or you can't move it as efficiently. This helps you keep it steady and keep it on the controller.
Neat.
Okay, that's cool. Actually,
I literally know someone who could have. I say could have. They're present tense as far as I know. I just haven't talked to them in a very long time. But I know someone who would benefit from something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is cool. That's actually really smart. And they have a lot of different little adjustments, like stuff as well. Neat.
Different styles and different whatever kind of function you need it to have.
Yeah, that's fun.
I think it's great that these kinds of things can exist and people are thinking about these kinds of things, because video games being the only form of modern media that is interactive and requires input from its audience.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, it more than say subtitles or closed captioning or the audio assistance for Netflix it has for blind people. Games need hardware to help with these kinds of things. So it's always cool to see.
You need much more to actually make a game accessible. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see what kind of tools and stuff are being developed to accommodate that.
That's awesome.
I always love stories like that. Next, Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny remaster announced for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Do 3
next.
Please do 3 next. I want the one with Jean Reno. God damn it.
What is with Capcom and skipping the first one when they're doing these remasters and remakes?
I don't know. It's weird.
Are we gonna get Devil May Cry 2 remake before? They should actually remake Devil May Cry 2 and make it good.
They actually should remake Devil May Cry 2 first, especially now that game is not completely irrelevant to the fucking timeline.
Yeah.
Like, they used to stick it at the end of the timeline so everybody could just ignore it, right? But like, one doesn't matter, it's at the very end.
Well, I think the reason why they skipped to 2 nowadays, Ben, is because I feel like they are scared by what they ended up doing to themselves with the Resident Evil remakes.
Yeah.
Where the Resident Evil 1
perfect.
remake... Well, also, like, the Resident Evil 1 remake came out so far long before they were ready to do the project of actually remaking all the earlier ones, that it is, like, a completely different fucking video game to any of the later remakes.
Yeah,
2,
it's
3,
not...
and 4 remake are all, like, of a same kind of game. The RE1 remake is still on pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's still the best one, by the way.
I believe it.
It's still really good, yeah.
The RE1 remake, my bold statement is that, one, the RE1 remake is the only remake in history that is an adequate replacement for the original video game, and 2, is the best remake of the series of Resident Evil remakes.
I could believe that. I haven't played it in a very long time, so I don't...
That game is good as fuck.
Yeah, but it's one of those things
my brother and playing that game together, and that game fucking kicks ass still.
I think their approach, though, has become more like, we want our starter one, like our starter remake, to be the one that is easiest to adapt for us for one reason or another, so that if it doesn't take off, well, we just did the one and it's fine. And if it does take off, then we can actually get the things together in such a time that, like, the other remakes will be comparable, instead of, again, like, they put out RE1 remake and it's its own kind of thing. And an RE2 remake doesn't come out for, like, what, the better part of a decade after that?
Yeah.
Fuck, when was RE1 remakes? I know RE2
RE1
remake was, like, what,
was
2020, right?
RE1 remake was 2002, 3? It was GameCube
no,
era.
2015. No,
I'm talking about the more recent one, like the HD remake.
That one was 2015, but it was just a high def remake of the GameCube remake, which came out in 2002. By
2002,
the way.
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, but like they did that one, and it's a completely different style of game. And then when they finally remade, like, you can't just... The problem is they did all that work back in 2002 for the most part, and then did upscaler and whatever. But you literally couldn't do a Resident Evil 2 remake the same way, right? And I think they wanted to avoid a scenario where they're like, in the process of doing the remakes, making them even more uneven than the original series was.
Yeah. I wonder if, though, they're part of the reason they are doing 2 is because there might be a likeness rights issue with Jean Reno that prevents them from doing 3.
I would not be shocked if that is the reason, because, like, using Jean Reno in 3 is, like... It feels like they set that game up to never be re-released.
Yeah.
Does it look like him and everything?
Yeah. It's very funny. It looks just like him. He's also does the voice for... So have you played Onimusha 3, Saturn?
No.
Okay. So the plot of Onimusha 3 is that it takes place in 2 time periods. It takes place in feudal Japan and modern day Paris.
Okay.
And the plot is the main character of Onimusha 1, Samanosuke, temporarily swaps places with Jean Reno's character.
Yeah.
So Jean Reno is in feudal Japan and Samanosuke is in modern Paris.
Uh-huh.
And you alternate between the characters as the story progresses. So...
Out of curiosity, because I don't know anything about Onimusha 3, when you say modern, like, how modern day is it? Like, is it like
2004?
Oh, okay.
When the game came out.
I was gonna say, is there any world? Does he happen to be playing a Napoleonic commander of some kind?
No, it's
the thing that is really important to know about Jean Reno. Or no, not Jean Reno. Never mind. Excuse me. I'm thinking of fucking Odo again.
You're thinking of Rene Aubergenois.
Yeah.
Yes, I was gonna say, the thing about Rene Aubergenois is that he is the descendant of like Napoleon's right-hand man.
That's
like,
not true. You're also thinking of Alexander Sadiq, who is the descendant of Napoleon's right-hand man.
Are you?
I think so.
No, because isn't Alexander Sadiq like Persian?
Yeah, but like one of his family is fucking French. Hold on.
I thought the thing was that, like, it was like...
Am I wrong? Hold on.
I'm pretty sure that
Alexander Sadiq is the nephew of Malcolm McDowell.
Oh, is that who I'm thinking of? I'm getting the 2 different acters like their fucked up their crazy lives mixed up. Hold on.
There's so many crazy lives for the thing. Yeah, Auberginois is one. He's like the 14th generation descendant or whatever of like one of the main dudes of Napoleonic France.
Yeah. Anyway, so the point is that when you're in before the game starts, you're in Paris, and Jacques, Jean Reno's character, speaks French. Mm-hmm. And that's what he's played as by Jean Reno. When he goes back in time, he meets a fairy in Japan that can translate language for him. Mm-hmm. And he speaks Japanese, but English because, they translated the game. Right, when he's speaking English, he's played by a different voice actor.
That's
so he's only voiced by Jean Reno for like 5 minutes at the start of the game and like 3 minutes at the end of the game. And the rest of the time, I think he's I think he is Robin Atkin Downs.
Oh, okay.
So it's mostly him, and then Jean Reno is for him for like 5 minutes total.
You could do the funniest thing in the world. You could I think the actual thing is they don't start with 3 because everyone wants 3, and there's like, no, you're gonna wait because we know you're gonna get it, and if we do 3 first, you're not gonna buy the other ones. But I do think you could, if there is a likeness dispute, do the funniest thing in the world, which is just like, Robin Atkin Downs will still do that job.
Yes, you will.
And you could just have it be the likeness of Robin Atkin Downs.
You can definitely remake the game and just change. You can do the Yakuza thing where they erased a man from existence after he got exposed for smoking marijuana, and so they completely retconned his character's appearance for all future games.
I think they also went and retconned his appearance in the original release of the game too, if I'm not mistaken. I think they re-released it, and when they re-released it, he was like completely recast and everything.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But you could just do that. But I do have to wonder if there's just like, it is one of those things where like we could remake Onimusha 3, but there's one weird complication we'd have to deal with. So no, just do 2 instead. Like it wouldn't even be that hard to renegotiate the rights, but it's just just do 2 instead.
I think it's a little of that and a little bit of, again, like, it's the reason why, like, when they were doing like the Front Mission remakes, right? They're like, no, we're doing Front Mission 1, 2, and 3, even though the only one people actually want is Front Mission 3. It's because, like, if they do 3 first, even though it's the one everyone wants, no one's ever going to go back and buy the other ones. So they're just doing it in order so that hopefully, ideally, you buy all of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm wrong. It's Samanosuke who is Robin Atkin Downs. Jacques is Paul Mercier, also known as the original voice of Leon Scott Kennedy.
Oh, fun, cute. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, Onimusha 3 is so fucking good.
You get the new Leon Scott Kennedy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Isn't that just Matt Mercer?
No, the new one.
Oh, right.
The one from the remake and the RE4 remakes.
Right.
I don't remember who it is who does that.
I don't know who it is. He's fine.
Yeah.
What's next? We're an hour and 40 into this, and we've barely touched the news.
Yeah.
We just love jabbing too much,
we
folks.
love
it's
yap
an illness.
folks. We love to yap. It's a huge problem.
There's a reason why I started live streaming and doing live reads of visual novels. I just love to yap.
Marvel, our first look at the Fantastic Four First Steps. They finally got the trailer for the new Fantastic Four movie.
I didn't watch it. Sorry,
it's
Ben.
set in the 60s.
Yay! At the very least, they got that right.
Is it still that same one that looks that way that still hasn't come out yet?
Still hasn't come out yet.
I'm insane. I feel like that movie's been threatening to come out for most of my 20s.
Yeah.
There are 2 important things that happen in this trailer. Mm-hmm. The first is that the Thing looks amazing. And he's got the Jack Kirby gigantic forehead ridge.
Oh, good. So he's got, like, cool eyebrows.
Oh, yeah. Is that where I saw that clip of him doing, like, a turnaround in the mirror and whatever?
Probably.
Okay. I saw a thing of the Thing recently. I'm like, I don't know what this is from, but it's funny. He's like, guys, I can't believe this. He's like checking himself out in the mirror and just like, oh, this is so weird.
The other important thing is that we see him in the trench coat and fedora.
Yes, I'm so glad they gave the Thing back his trench coat and fedora. That makes me very happy.
The most important thing about the Thing is the trench coat and fedora.
Yeah.
It's funny, like Red from Boulder Punch on BlueSky was talking about the trailer, and he was like, you were talking about how, like, yeah, the Thing might be one of the best characters in media ever created, because you, just like Wolverine, you can put him in anything and he fits.
Oh yeah, he fits right in. He's just that kind of a guy. Yeah.
He can be a pirate, a detective. He can go back to King Arthur times. He can go to space. He fits anywhere you want to slot him.
Exactly.
He's like Quark in this way.
You could put the Thing on Deep Space Nine and he'd just slot in.
Everybody would roll with it. Absolutely.
They already did, Ben. His name is Morn. Comparatively, you could drop Quark into modern day 2025 New York City, and no one would bat an eye.
Not a single person.
Fine.
He would thrive.
People would assume that his appearance was that he was like trying to get TikTok clout by doing like weird makeup and pretending to be an alien.
There is also one minor thing in this trailer that I like. We see everyone use their powers except for Reed Richards, which presumably because it looks weird and they don't want to show it in the trailer just yet. But we do see Reed writing on a chalkboard that's like 20 feet wide.
Yeah.
So you just know in the actual movie he's going to be stretching
his arms
on both sides. Like, oh, they're nailing it. This is what I would want from a Fantastic Four movie.
You want Reed to use his stretchy powers for exclusively stupid ass reasons, because that's what he does in the comics. Yeah,
the new Ryan North series that's ongoing right now. If you haven't read it, it's the best Fantastic Four has been in decades. Oh my god, it's the Ryan North comic is so good. He's constantly doing weird shit with his powers, like turning his eyes into binoculars.
Yeah, oh god, I saw that post. It's so good. He's just doing all kinds of fucked up shit with his powers. It rules. He turns
his fingers into an impossible cube to like represent a shape at one point. Oh my god, it's so good.
If you had stretchy powers, you would too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You'd use them for fucking everything. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm very excited for this. It seems to not be an MCU movie because it's set in the 60s and like weird, like, you know, public aliens and explosions are happening, and they didn't have superheroes until Iron Man appeared. Like, that was the thing. So it's just
like a disconnected Fantastic Four thing, hopefully?
Maybe.
That would be really nice.
If they're smart, they will stop doing that MCU shit because people are sick of it.
Well,
and you can still get people to turn up to watch superhero movies. They just don't need to be part of like a big 10-year plan to tell some stupid bullshit story that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The problem is that we already know that can't be the case. Because the next Avengers movie is Doomsday, and it's literally got the most poorly cast Doctor Doom of all time. You're not escaping. Yeah, no, you're not escaping it. 100% not.
Well, we'll see.
They're gonna do some shit where this is set in an alternate universe, right?
Yeah, the Fantastic Four are gonna.
They're loving that multiverse shit. And then it's gonna end with them hopping over to the MCU. Yeah.
At least it's not John Kay playing Reed Richards.
Thank God. Fuck me.
They got that joke out of their system in Doctor Strange.
Yes, and then he got owned super hard in that movie.
And now it's
Pedro Pascal, right?
Yeah, now we can have lovely Pedro Pascal, who looks immaculate as Reed Richards.
He looks fantastic. Yes, absolutely. Good for him.
Like you watch the trailer and it's filmed all 60s style, you know.
Sure.
And you're like, yeah, that man is from the 60s, just like Walton Goggins. That man is just from the 60s. He fell in a time portal.
Yeah, he's got the face for it, 100%. Yeah.
The Thing looks amazing. I'm so happy they got that exactly right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks great. Next, it happened again. Everyone reset your clocks.
Somebody linked something to War Thunder.
Devil May Cry remake has possibly been hinted at by a virtual voice actor.
I hope so on my hands, and I really go back and forth between this almost daily. I'm like, do I really want a Devil May Cry 1 remake? Because that game kind of exists in a perfect little time bubble, right? And will never, Capcom would never remake DMC 1 to be the kind of, I mean, it's a Resident Evil game with swords and combos, right? It's a third person, fixed cameras, like explorer kind of Metroidvania-ish game, and like in my heart of hearts, I know that a remake would never get that tone right. They would never let it be spooky because they want it to be more in line with the rest of the franchise, which is not spooky, right? So I'm like, we don't need Devil May Cry 1 remake. But on the other hand, what if they remake Devil May Cry 1 though, right?
What if they do that?
Well, what if they did that though, right?
I want to point out that the him spilling the beans took place at Power Morphicon 2024 during a Devil May Cry panel. Which is very funny to me because that's just, hey, we know this is their setting up like a box propped up by a stick to get Dan Southworth to come in, like to sneak in and get the pie.
Yep.
And they're gonna trap him, make him reveal secrets about what he's doing in the future.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you invite Dan Southworth to cons, right?
Yeah.
To try and trick him into spilling something. Yeah, totally.
Now, granted, he has announced nothing about what it actually is or what company is making it, so it could just be him doing voice acting for another unrelated game, and the director said, hey, can you do your Virgil voice? Can you do young Virgil? Our character is kind of Virgil-like, and we want Virgil to do Virgil. Like when Doc and Jackson got Kevin Conroy to do Captain Sunshine, they're like, can you just do your Batman voice?
Can you just do your Batman voice, please?
Can you just be Batman for us while you say these lines that we wrote?
Here's the thing. Now I say this with the lens of like I'm not particularly like Devil May Cry build. Like I don't have a whole lot of stake in that ongoing franchise. However, I think even in the world where this isn't a DMC 1 remake or anything else, if it's a world where Dan Southworth is getting work to play a character who is just Virgil, I think that's okay.
That's okay too.
I am happy just hearing Dan Southworth's voice in a game.
Yeah, we got excited just to see Dan Southworth in an extremely bad movie, right?
Yeah,
like we're simple.
Funniest / best things it could be if it's not Devil May Cry related. I'll go first. They're putting a Virgil in Warframe.
Ooh.
Just like a character voiced by Dan Southworth who is Virgil.
Funniest option for me. Virgil is a DLC character for Monster Hunter Wilds.
That's a high possibility.
Oh, that in fact is all. That might actually be like a guarantee based on how Worlds went. Worlds would constantly put in like, hey, you know what? There's a Street Fighter V's coming out. We put in a crossover quest so you can get costumes that let you dress up as Street Fighter V Ryu or whatever.
Yeah.
They could totally hypothetically just be like, hey, here's we still have those DMC5 assets laying around, so here's Virgil.
Yeah, because they put a DMC1 Dante outfit in Worlds, right?
Yeah, I think it was for the release of like 4 Special Edition or something.
Yeah. They literally put like a DMC. I know for a fact that there's a DMC1 Dante costume in a Monster Hunter because modders basically immediately ported that like high res version of the DMC1 Dante outfit to DMC5 PC version.
Yeah, that's in Worlds. Yeah. I forget what the provenance of that is. I think it was for the release of 4 Special Edition though. But still.
Funniest outcome.
Funniest thing that Dan Southworth could be playing Virgil in, whether it's literally Virgil or just a Virgil-like character.
Yeah. That isn't a Devil May Cry game.
Yeah.
If not for the fact that Samurai Remnant already came out and and doesn't have an English dub, there's a part of me that's like, it would be really funny if you got Dan Southworth to play oh my god, what's the name of the Tsubame Gaishi guy? What's his name?
I don't know.
I just remember how cool Tsubame Gaishi is. His name has an S in it.
Sasaki.
Sasuke Kojiro. It would be really funny if you got him to play English dub Sasuke Kojiro.
Yeah, that'd be sick as fuck. Yeah, absolutely.
The coolest I can think of, just off the top of my head, is he plays a character in Expedition 33.
That would be cool.
Wait, that could totally happen.
Yeah, I actually could see that super hard. Yeah.
Those French weebs absolutely would cast him to be like, hey, dude, could you play Virgil in our French JRPG?
Considering how based their like inspirations for the game are, like I would not be surprised. They're like, yeah, Devil May Cry's in here too.
Oh yeah, totally.
That game clearly has enough money that they could go, yeah, we could get Dan Southworth to come in. We have the organizational capacity and a budget to say, hey, Dan Southworth, can you come in and just play Virgil for us?
Funniest possible, though, that I can think of right now, funniest is new Sonic character.
Fuck yes. Oh, fuck yes, please.
Considering Sonic the Hedgehog and Devil May Cry are, the Venn diagram is a circle.
Yeah.
Just make that even more of a circle and just put Virgil in. Give Sonic his, like, fourth Virgil.
And he'd just be voiced by Virgil?
Yeah.
They're already working on the fourth Sonic movie, and they didn't want to, like, waste even more money getting more star-studded actors, and they're just getting him to play Silver.
No. Yes! You get him to play Metal Sonic.
Oh fuck!
You give Metal Sonic a new form, and it's Virgil's voice.
Yeah, that would be sick.
You have a dumb scene where Metal Sonic is sitting in a white plastic chair with his back turned to Sonic, and then he gets up and it turns to ash.
Oh fuck!
Oh, God, okay. That would be so cool. Okay, we'll see though. I mean, we're gonna get something about that soon.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe
at the State of Play.
At the State of Play that's happening tomorrow, which this podcast will not be available. We'll talk about that next week, I guess.
So Sarah will buy a PlayStation 5 again if you put a DMC1 remake on it.
If you put a DMC1 remake on it exclusively, yeah. And they're like, it's a timed exclusive, I'd still be like, well, I guess I'm buying a PlayStation 5 like a fucking moron. Yeah.
That's what I did for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
You're so right. I'll kill myself.
I'm like, what, am I gonna wait like a fucking chump?
I can't even play it. I waited and I can't even play it on my PC because my PC isn't good enough.
So yeah, Sega's doing Sony's doing a State of Play tomorrow. God, Sega doing a State of Play. Sony's doing a State of Play tomorrow. I think they're doing it for two reasons. One, because they had to get it out the door before Nintendo announces Nintendo eats them.
And more importantly, they have to prove that as compared to the Switch 2, there is in fact a reason to own a PlayStation 5 in 2025.
There's a Sony exec that was like, listen, Nintendo is gonna show 3 seconds of Link's hat and then it's fucking over for us. We've got to announce something.
Show something, you dumbasses.
They're going to show Dark Souls 3 playing on the Nintendo Switch 2. We're fucked.
We're so fucking dead. You have no idea. No.
But I think,
do we as yet know any major Sony releases that are happening this year, like at all?
No.
Oh,
God.
That's why I'm like, I don't know if there's if there is I don't think there's currently a use case to buy a PlayStation 5 in 2025, aside from the obvious reasons, just like, I don't think anything's confirmed to be coming out this year.
I don't.
Not like anything, like there's stuff that I'm excited for, like Expedition and Yakuza.
Yotei. I mean, Ghost of Yotei is...
Yotei, yeah, but I don't think that's going to come out this year.
I guess Death Stranding 2, isn't that supposed to be this year?
Also, are Expedition 33 or Death Stranding 2 PlayStation exclusive?
I think Death Stranding 2 is.
I think Death Stranding is,
has given Koji Pro like a ton of money.
Yeah,
right?
but Expedition is multi-platform for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely multi-plat.
But I think the other reason Sony is doing their State of Play tomorrow is because as an apology. Because PlayStation Network back online after a mysterious major outage that lasted 24 hours.
Wow. Did they ever say what happened?
They have not officially stated it, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
heck.
I don't know that they would do a state of... Because the thing is, the State of Play formatting especially suggests that it's a planned thing, and they wouldn't organize those that quickly. However, I think it will be insane if they don't address it at all.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's I would say it's funny, but like, you know, it is kind of fucked up because of how dedicated everything is to being online. Like, if it's down, like, a lot of shit doesn't work.
You can't even use your fucking. You spent $800 some odd dollars on your PlayStation 5 Pro and a disk drive, and because you have to use the internet to verify your fucking disk drive, you can't even play your physical games on your PlayStation 5 Pro.
The disk drive requiring a fucking handshake is psychopathic.
It's deranged.
Insane.
Like
what
the game
is wrong with them?
There's already copy protection, brother. It's on the disc.
Like,
you nominally made the discs in that way as that they are copy protected. Why the fuck is the attached disk drive required to handshake the servers? Not only at all. Not only just for setup, literally every time you want to use it.
Every single time you want to use it, it has to handshake. Yes.
Hey, you know what? I want to play Mario and Luigi Brothership. Internet's down. Hey, put the cartridge in my Switch. Turn it on.
And it fucking works.
The game's there.
Imagine that.
Remember when we used to have that?
Remember when this is the company that in like 2013 or 2014 was putting out YouTube videos? Like, this is how you share a game on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same company.
Allegedly.
It infuriates me how my shelf of PS4 and PS5 games are just installation discs and not the game.
Like, if you can't... And that's the thing, it's like, I get that physicals, whatever, but the thing is, like, Switch nominally, and like, we'll see if Switch 2 has any issues with that, but like, a Switch cartridge has the game on it.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to install it to your Switch in a lot of cases, just for like logistics, but like, the game's on there. You can just do it.
Yeah.
If... I can't imagine there being a use case. Here's the thing, like, it's not even just like, oh, it's better for Sony or whatever. It's also like, there's not a utility for a console if the console doesn't actually perform any function that cannot just be done on a PC. Like, there's just literally no, like, there would be no reason for Sony not to just pivot to go like, actually, we have our own Steam and you just do it on your PC and we sell like pre-made PCs, because like, that's not... Like, a console is completely worthless if you can't actually do anything with it, like, independently. Like, if it's just, like, a way for different services to handshake each other, that's insane.
Yeah. Like, I bought the console because I want to play games on it. And you're shoving all these extra parts in it that prevent me from just doing that.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
It's insane. It's completely insane.
Like
there's a range.
If this was like 7th gen, and it was like, oh, PlayStation Network is down, or Xbox Live is down, that would suck. But like, you could still play games on your console. You know,
yeah.
You aren't just locked in to not being able to even like fucking boot up a game.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are right. Where like they should like, a month free of PSN at the very least. Right?
They're literally only gonna give people 5 days of PSN.
Yeah.
That's what they already said. Like,
God.
it's ridiculous. Back in the day, you got free video games and shit. It's absurd.
Well, the problem is they don't have any Little Big Planets to give you anymore, because they like...
They don't have any fucking video games!
That studio's gone, and also they shut down all those Little Big Planets, and they never had anything to replace any of it.
They don't have any fucking video games to give people! It's absurd!
If they were wise, they'd be like, fine, just, like, here's the thing. They could go like, we'll give you Demon Souls for free. Congratulations, you have just given away for free the only PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Christ.
Okay, 2 more.
Oh my god.
Speedrunner makes gaming history by beating Mike Tyson in less than 2 minutes.
Speedrunner, he says. Who was the speedrunner, Ben?
Summoning Salt.
It was Summoning Salt in fucking self.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna announce a pet peeve of mine right now. The reason people are not named in article titles is because of how journalism works. That unless it's a widely known public figure, you do not put their name in the title. That's not to you. That's to everyone in the world who's always like, whenever like you see an article about like, a black person who invented something, or like,
teenager finds way to clean the air of all chemicals. Yeah,
and they're like, say their name, and it's like, thanks for proving you didn't read the article, because it's literally in the first sentence in the article.
Yes. That being said, it's fucking summoning salt. It's not any speedrunner. It's the speedrun guy.
It would have been more accurate to say the speedrunner.
Yeah. Speed running deity summoning salt.
And for context, for anyone who like didn't actually read this article or doesn't know the score of this, the thing that Summoning Salt did, aside from being like the result of like literally 4 to 5 years of continuous effort, and I think he said about 70,000 attempts.
75,000 attempts over 5 years.
Because it requires something like a 30 to 40 frame perfect inputs on top of like just playing the game well, and also like an extremely lucky degree of RNG.
Yes.
But it's like, this is like basically a 99.9th percentile mathematically perfect clear of Mike Tyson, completely not tool assisted at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So the thing about Mike Tyson's Punch Out is that it doesn't actually keep time the way you think it does. Right. It keeps time in integers. So like, you can't get, say, the record right now is 159.90.97.
Right.
You can't get 159.96 because they use in-game timer, and the timer doesn't track that low.
Imagine a bus that can only come once every 22 frames.
Exactly. So like, this is about it. I think. Okay. So here's a quote. Here's a few quotes just to explain what he's done. The Mike Tyson fight requires an incredible amount of luck and execution. Salt's video description explains, I hit all 21 frame perfect punches, 1/60th of a second, hit 10 perfect dodges and ducks, and got luck that has somewhere around a 1 in 7,000 to 1 in 10,000 chance of occurring.
Wow.
I think he clarified that like, it's technically with slightly better RNG possible to get a slightly faster run, but this is basically like it. There is not like anything else you can do to make that go faster aside from like have a little bit better RNG.
Yeah, he said that he has no desire to improve on that. He's done.
Yeah. No, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
75,000 attempts just against Mike Tyson? Yeah, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
To ultimately just to be the first person to have it be 159 instead of 2.
Yeah. It's cool because when you get down to like this and like Super Mario Brothers, like you are measuring things in fractions of a fraction of a second.
Oh yeah, you are literally like it is like Super Mario Brothers 1 where it's literally like we are at the human limit of capacity to beat it faster, right? Like after a certain point, like a person is not physically capable of doing it, right?
Right, like you're done. It's it. You've hit it.
And even for Mike Tyson's Punch Out, part of the thing is that it's like the tool assisted run would maybe be that single integer of like a fraction of a second faster. Yeah, because like it is literally like his inputs are as perfect as a machine could do. It's just down to having those perfect inputs RNG on a literally mathematically perfect RNG run too.
Yeah. Finally, Steam games that force players to watch advertisements are banned, Valve emphasizes.
Yes, is extremely based. Good for them.
I did not know that there were any Steam games that forced you to do that. It's crazy to me that this had to be clarified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them for clarifying that as a position. It's a great position.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not realize this was a world people lived in.
Yeah.
Like, what's forcing you to watch ads? Like, ports of bad gachas? Like,
the article does not have any examples of games that had this.
It's probably like just the bottom of the slop barrel, like bad gacha, bad games, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, bad mobile games that like you have to watch an ad before you're allowed to play again.
Ports of bad mobile games is probably a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. According to this article, they also implemented a feature last week that warns you if it's been several years since an early access game has gotten an update.
Which I think is super sick as well. It's
Yeah.
literally like, it's only for early access games, but so it's like, do you really want to back this game that is probably dead?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like on top of their things of like, hey, if you promise shit, you have to set a very specific timetable for this content to come out. What I like about the early access thing, though, is that the developer is able. There's an explanation box that the developer can fill out if it's like, hey, we're still working on this. We're just busy or whatever. But
We're
like,
just
you can be
really
like,
busy.
Hey,
yeah.
So like you go to an early access game, it seems like, hey, this hasn't been updated in 6 months, and the developer says, yeah, I got sent to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
This is gonna be that person we talked about last episode where they're gonna have to flag. Oh yeah, I was in jail, so it's not gonna be updated for 3 years.
I was in jail, or it's I'm only one person working on this game, and this is just like a side project of mine.
Yeah,
you know, stuff like that. Like I think that's really cool. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, so very, very based of Valve and Steam to do all this.
It's gonna suck so bad when Gabe Newell dies. You have no idea, guys. Holy shit.
Epic wonders why it has never been able to actually corner a meaningful market share, and it's just like the entire time, like Steam has been setting the standard for how you should run a storefront like this. Yeah. That literally none of its competitors, either on PC or in the console space, have been able to follow. Period.
Yeah. Like are completely unwilling to do it all. Yeah.
Like we talked about with the AI slop with the Nintendo and PSN stores. Like they just simply don't care enough. Whereas like all the shit you can give Steam, they care more than them.
Yeah.
The only like online retailer for video games that is at all comparable is literally just GOG, right?
Right.
And like GOG is really cool, but GOG does not have the breadth of stuff available on it.
Yeah.
But like GOG is pretty cool. But that's kind of it, right?
It turns out when you're a company that is trying to sell products to a consumer and you consider the consumer in your decisions and how to sell the product, you sell more product.
No,
Crazy.
That's silly. That's absurd.
Like if you go, hey, what if we did a thing that made it easier for the consumer to buy the product?
No, but what if we just like tried to squeeze more blood out of this stone instead?
You're right. That's a much better idea.
Yeah, I think it's a much better idea. You're welcome. Yeah, no.
We should
love having blood squeezed out of them.
Yeah,
we should charge $100 for the game.
Yeah, I also think you should charge $100 for the video game.
And the consumers will love it because it would be really good for my margins and my investments if they did. And so I have decided that they would because they want me to succeed.
Yeah, totally.
Personally.
And it won't matter if it doesn't because we're just going to fire everyone who makes the game anyway.
Yeah, totally. It's fine.
And we'll have AI make the game. Because AI is free. And
AI is the future, yeah.
We'll tell ChatGPT to write the code, and we won't have to pay for it. And then we'll sell 8 billion copies of the game because every person on Earth will want to buy the AI game.
Yeah,
because that's what my nephew told me.
Who's got the money to buy the video game now that nobody has any work thanks to AI? Don't worry about it. It's fine.
A sidebar on a related news for like it's not the normal thrust of the show, but my favorite girls are fighting moment of this week was definitely the headline of an Elon Musk led investment group putting an open bid to try and buy OpenAI for like $89.4 billion in lieu of like OpenAI's documented financial trouble, and Sam Altman just going, no, but I'll buy Twitter from you for $8.94 billion.
The girls are fighting, and it's really funny.
Let them fight.
Yeah. Oh my god, the girls are fighting.
You love a fight where you want badly to see everybody involved lose.
Yeah.
Oh, you want everybody to get their teeth kicked in. Absolutely.
Whoever loses, we win.
And whoever wins, we kill and eat them in this case.
That's right.
They'll be weakened.
That's so true. That's so true. It's like letting enemies fight in Doom, you know? They'll just you can just pick them off after they're done.
It's like when you're playing Fortnite and you hear the sound of distant gunfire, and if you think to yourself, if I go there, that's easy food for me because I still have all my hit points and they won't. And
then you get killed by the guy who also had that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. but you know.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we got for this week.
Get us out of here.
Thank you to DJ Cutman for use of background music. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on BlueSky with all the links we have there below. I finally went and updated our episode description to actually include our BlueSky links instead of our Twitter links.
Yay!
Those are gone.
Yay!
And yeah, patreon.com/thegorge again, and join us every week or so on Saturn's channel for streaming of the Devil until that's over, and then whenever Saturn feels like streaming, and then join us for more Ace Attorney investigations.
Yeah,
right.
I won't continue to conscript my dear friends into constantly doing grueling live reads with me. However, I'm confident I will find other things to make them do with me on stream.
Yay!
Look,
violence.
I'll watch you play visual novels, but I'm not going to read along with you.
That's okay. I'll just do all the reading by myself. And
that's right.
Die.
And I'll cheer for you as you die.
I'll be the first person in the world to die of their throat falling out of their body spontaneously.
Just exploding out of your neck, yeah.
No, it wouldn't be an explosion.
No. I like the idea. It puts on a little cartoon hat and it picks up like a little briefcase and says, "I'm out of here."
I think it would be delicate and gentle, like at some point during streaming, my entire neck anatomy just turned into pulled pork. Like it just sort of collapsed after me.
You just start gargling. But you're still trying to read Umineko because you like Umineko that much.
You just turn into a ghoul.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me after I've been live reading for like 4 hours and haven't drank enough water.
The live reading death stream of Umineko.
Streamer's trick.
You can't death stream Umineko because you will die. Also because I found a funny thing from actually watching at some point, or like tuning into like actual donathons. If you leave a stream up for more than 48 hours, Twitch like destroys you. They like delete you. You have to manually close your stream at like hour 47 or they will like send you to the gulag.
That's so funny. That must be a relatively recent thing because I remember watching Summoning Salt videos about speedrunners who like, I think it was for Ninja Gaiden. He just decided to always be streaming.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't always playing 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Like he just left the stream running.
Yeah.
You can kind of do that, but it's still like every other day you have to restart your stream. Like you can't have like a VOD that is like you have to literally go like, oh, it's 47:45, close the stream and then immediately reopen it. So it's technically a different stream. That's how you get around it. Otherwise, they send you to the gulag.
Yeah, they
send you straight to hell. Yeah,
they must have added that in response to shit like that.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Who do we got? Who do we got?
I don't know. No one was really like super evil.
We didn't really have a villain. Fuck AI slop. We haven't done that.
You know what? Yeah, that's.
I'm so sick of slop. My God, I'm so tired of slop culture. Even the fucking Fantastic Four movie. The movie
poster had AI slop in it.
The posters have AI slop in it. It's like, fuck, I'm so tired of slop.
Didn't you learn your lesson from Secret Invasion?
Nobody likes that shit. It makes it look cheap and bad. Fuck me.
That's the thing. That's always the thing I was thinking about this earlier, where sometimes people are like, well, what if it's just used in like the concept phase or whatever, and the actual work's done by people? And it's like, no, you don't understand. If you didn't like care enough to think about it, and like, why the fuck do you want me to look at it?
Yeah, exactly. You don't even want to think, like, because the Inception part is like the most interesting part, like the part where you're coming up with it. I almost excuse like taking, like, if you did the sketch and then did like AI to color it or something, I almost respect that more than using AI to do the concepting phase.
Yeah, because that's just using, a computer generated like asset to work on the art. Same with using,
you still had the idea.
Using keyframes and 3D modeling or something like that. It's like, there's a difference between that and generative AI. Like, people have to be specific about it, that it's generative AI is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or it's like if someone like, and even with like again, like, I don't like generative AI in any kind of capacity, whatever. But again, like, if it's between the artist who sketch something and then when like, okay, I have the base sketch, AI turn this into a real picture, versus someone who from the very first moment, like I don't respect either of you, but if I only have one bullet, I know who I'm shooting.
Yeah,
exactly. Because
and it's the person who did literally any work at all.
The person who did any work at all, and who did like any degree of like thought into what they wanted it to be, versus
that person is saved.
Versus
they can be rehabilitated by the Revolutionary Council.
Exactly. And the guy who just like tells AI to make everything, no, absolutely the fuck not. That is just you don't even care enough to do the fun part, because the fun part of the work is coming up with the idea, right? The part
and trying and failing to make it real.
The part that sucks is the making it, right? Like, and I get that, because I make shit. I understand, because making shit fucking sucks. But having ideas is cool and fun. And you know, if you make shit, that's way cooler and way more respectable.
You know what I discovered recently that made me like depressed?
Mm-hmm.
What's
it's
that?
like, so I'm planning a campaign, a tabletop campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things you have to do when planning a tabletop campaign is name things.
Yeah.
And so
makes sense.
in the past, you'd go to a random name generator and they would pull from a pool of like 10,000, prefixes and suffixes, and you just go through the list and see which one you like. Now even that's being done by AI.
It fucking sucks, dude.
Like, no, I don't want to like have it generated for me. I want you to just give me a randomized from like a list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because also like if you do the list thing, you'll get like, if you're like, what's my randomized supervillain name? It'll give you like the Metal Squancher or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, some stupid bullshit that's like funny or whatever, but maybe it gives you a vibe. If you do it through the AI, it's like your villain name is Villerm.
Yeah.
Villerm? Does that work for you, Villerm? What about a Super Roll?
It's all just nonsense. It doesn't have like any kind of funny quirkiness to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's just slop. That's all it boils down to. It's just slop.
Let me make my in this extended fuck you segment. Let me make my moral imperative perfectly clear. So if you're listening in the audience and you're considering giving me $4,000 to play a video game, know this: if you use AI to outsource your own, like the root of your creativity, where you say like, I don't even want to sketch this, I don't even want to write this, I just want to tell a computer to do it for me from the very beginning. Know that you are, in spirit, if not in truth, a landowner. And I think Mao had some good ideas.
That's correct. You're so right, Saturn. You are. If you can't even do the baseline, the fun part of coming up with the idea, then
that's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole part. That's fun.
That's
listen
why
to me,
are
friend.
you doing it then?
Listen to me, friend, who I just indirectly threatened. This is my offer of salvation to you. I need you to understand, being alive in the world as a person is doing the thing.
It's doing the thing.
These are people who are so soulless.
Oh god,
that
they're worms.
The joy of creativity does not apply to them. They only care about the joy of recognition.
Yeah.
You are a meat battery. You have to strive to be a person and not a meat battery.
They only care about YouTube subscribers.
That's it.
That's what they care about.
These are
the people who, at their core of cores, desire content.
Ugh,
don't ask questions, just consume product.
And we fucking hate those. Fuck those guys. That's the important part of this extended rant.
You call it content because you don't care about what you're actually making. I call it content because it's a generalized term for producing some sort of media on the internet.
We are not the same.
And if this describes you and you have somehow listened to all 12 hours of this podcast, know that there is a part of your soul crying out to be saved. You just, listen to me, you just have to draw bad. And
just
if you
draw
draw bad
squiggle.
Listen.
And if you draw bad for long enough, it will eventually be less bad. But making things that suck is like the requirement to live as a person. Everybody makes things that suck, even people who you think don't.
Remember the philosophy of creating. I can't do this. Guess it'll have to look bad.
That's right.
Remember the phrase, guess it'll have to look bad. Because it's better to make it and have it look bad than to say tell a computer to make it and then also have it look bad.
And it still looks bad, just in a completely different way. Exactly.
With the exception of one recent addition that's like a piece of fan art, everything I made in my stream layout is something I made myself. Like self-learning OBS, using fucking Procreate, and like some amateur level of drawing skill that I've built up over the course of my 20s. And like, I mean, like, here's the thing. It might not look great, but I made it, and I think it looks pretty good. And I don't get there unless I put in the effort to be willing to make things that look like shit for a long time before that. And that's, like, rewarding. And you will never get that if you just outsource that wonderful part of the human experience to a machine, and instead the only thing you do with your life is, like, work.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.